About your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by... And Tiger Talk this morning brought to you by Health First Community Health Centers, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street, and Katie's Delicious Homemade Goodness, and Perry's Floors and more.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Dr. Perry is accepting new patients and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, we are not just another doctor's office, we are your medical home. Call us toll-free at 1-877-667-7017.
And good morning at 8:05 now. Welcome to Tiger Talk this morning. I have the pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY studios Allie Perryman. She's with our Pennyrile District Health Departments, and I'll let Allie tell you what her specialty is, because we are here talking this morning about National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'll let you give the folks out there your title with the health department.
Okay. I'm Allie Perryman, like he said. I'm the registered dietitian. I've been there with them for a few years. But recently, this past January, I received my CLC, which is the Certified Lactation Counselor degree. So basically, that's allowing me to work with any pregnant and breastfeeding mother. So
right. Well, that's fantastic. Of course, August marks National Breastfeeding Awareness Month and World Breastfeeding Week, which are movements to promote, protect, and support breastfeeding by any woman, anywhere, at any time. And this year's theme for World Breastfeeding Week is Sustaining Together, but we're talking about specifically what your program is here in our area to help expectant mothers with this process. Of course, you are part of our, I think there's 5 Pennyrile District offices around and here in our Pennyrile District. That, of course, includes the Caldwell County Health Department for providing all kinds of health care and services for our communities. But let's specifically get into what you do for them with this program, since we are, in National Breastfeeding Month. And we'll go into to how you do your job and what expectant mothers, how they can participate.
So we, like you said, we are the Pennyrile District Health Department, and Caldwell County is part of that, and we have 5 counties that we serve. I am actually based out of the Crittenden County Health Department, but I do cover all 5 counties. So that's Caldwell, Crittenden, Livingston, Lyon, and Trigg counties. So basically, this is a program we offer through the health department, and it's through the WIC program more specifically, which is the Women, Infants, and Children program.
Okay.
So anybody that's added to our WIC program that's pregnant or breastfeeding, if they think they might have potential issues or they just need to speak to a certified lactation counselor, they can definitely talk to me about that. And then once they do start breastfeeding, if they do see that they have complications or questions or whatever, then the nurse or whoever adds them to WIC can refer to myself, and then I would set up a separate time with them.
Right. There might be someone out there that goes through their pregnancy, has their baby, and then discovers, boy, this isn't as easy a process. You just think, okay, you have your child, and then voila, there they start breastfeeding. But sometimes the child doesn't take to breastfeeding. You think it's natural, and it is, but sometimes some children have trouble breastfeeding. Yeah,
sometimes it can be harder. Moms, it is natural, like you said, but I think our hospitals nearby, a lot of times, and not just nearby, United States wide, they promote just formula because it's easy. It's they think it's quicker and easy. But breastfeeding can be just as easy and can be quicker. And if you think about it in the middle of the night, would you rather, just breastfeed your baby, or would you rather get up and go to the kitchen and prepare a bottle and, all that stuff? So
Right, it might be just as a lot more convenient just to breastfeed your child.
Yeah.
But again, there are complications. But the good thing about your program is a lot of expectant mothers, they will be with you before their child arrives.
Yes.
And so you're training, you're talking with them, and prepping them, so to speak, not only on how this might happen, but I'm sure you're talking nutrition for the mother, and good child development, the type of nutrition and nourishment that a mother and a child need through their pregnancy. So it's a wonderful program, I know.
Yes. So we a lot of the moms that get referred to me that are breastfeeding, they come to me with latching issues. It sounds pretty simple, but there are some instances where moms have problems with their child latching. Then there's the supply issue. So sometimes, moms don't have a great supply, and we work on how to increase that supply. So we kind of...
Is that a nutrition thing, more or less, or are there several factors that come into that?
It's not necessarily a nutrition. It's mostly the frequency of breastfeeding.
Okay.
So that goes right back to when they leave the hospital. You're just kind of thrown, and you don't really know how often, how much,
Right, and there's somewhat, I don't want to say it's a science to it, but there is a certain, you need to be educated about, your body and how it works. And I know everybody can be a little bit different, but, the lactation process is something special with women, especially, it's hormonal when they have, a child in their womb. So there are a lot of components that come together to provide a good, healthy time for a mother and child, especially, and even it's just a matter of getting your child close to you, I guess, to be able to latch on, so to speak.
One of the major benefits that they say of breastfeeding for the mom is the fact that they have that connection with their child and that fulfillment,
right,
because of the hormones that's released during breastfeeding, and so it's the prolactin, oxytocin, and so that's some of those hormones.
So, exactly. What are some of the biggest problems that you encounter when it comes to a woman that's has a desire to breastfeed their child, but there seems to be just an issue? What are the most common problems that you see?
Latch, I would say, would be probably one of the first issues, just because it takes the proper positioning of the baby, and not every baby's the same, and
right.
Making sure that they have that wide open gape, the infant, and then beyond latch. So maybe they've got the latch down, and maybe this is a different mother, but then they feel like their supply is not sufficient. So
right.
A lot of moms worry that they're not feeding their baby enough when they're breastfeeding, because you can't, unless you're pumping, you can't tell how much you're actually providing.
Right. I mean, there's no measuring aspect of that.
So the way we handle that, you can do weight checks on the baby.
Okay.
If your pediatrician ever sees that there's any weight loss or any concern there, they may suggest supplementing with formula. And we want to put the baby's needs first, so that we're not completely against that at all. So if you require formula, that's definitely something that can be done if you require supplementation.
Right. Does your program is it strictly, and we're talking about breastfeeding here, but that does possibly include breast pumping and then feeding that way as well?
Yes. So we can always discuss. We actually do issue breast pumps through the health department as well. So that can be a concern to moms too when they go back to work and they're not able to breastfeed as frequently as what you should to be able to keep up your supply. So that's whenever you would want to pump, whenever you're away from your baby.
Does your program also include dads? Because I know when my children were there,
the dads are, obviously they are not going to be hands-on, so to speak,
no.
with that, but they definitely are included. And if they want to come to the appointments, we welcome them more than anything to come in.
Well, especially I think if a lady is pumping, sometimes you have to store, and then the dad might get up in the middle of the night and there it is, and so you just you're kind of a fumbling idiot. You know, you don't know what's going on. Okay, I know I'm supposed to do this, but yeah, that's the great thing about a program like this is, you know, it's about the education aspect, and as we mentioned, there are a lot of components to this. Yeah. And the most important thing is the baby and its health and its nutrition. Yes. And of course that bonding experience that mothers and parents have with that newborn. So
and then if you don't have any necessarily problems while you're breastfeeding, we also, through the WIC program, recently, the last, I think it's a couple of years, at the Pennyrile District Health Department, we have added the lactation peer counselor. And she's not able to be here with me today, but she, basically what she does, she had to be on WIC herself, and she had to breastfeed herself. So she kind of has been in your shoes, so to speak, as you come through the WIC program.
Yeah, she can kind of say, this is what I experienced. And
she is an excellent cheerleader. She's a go-getter. Her name is Jackie Dismore.
Okay.
And so she really can kind of encourage you. And if you don't have any necessarily problems, like I said, and what I would address, then she talks to them. You know, a lot of times she's able to give them her personal phone number, and they can text and email and call. And so if you're, you know, late at night and they're just kind of, the mom's freaking out, you know, she can text her and it's like, oh, I can't believe, you know, I'm done with this. But Jackie can
when the frustration set in and all kinds of things, and they might happen at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
And she can be there. So
that's awesome. Let's take a quick break,
okay.
And we'll come back and talk a little bit more about your program specifically. We'll talk about Breastfeeding Awareness Month as well, and we'll wrap up today here on Tiger Talk. We're talking to Allie Perryman, and she's a lactation specialist, registered dietitian with the Pennyrile District Health Department, based out of Crittenden County. Of course, she covers Caldwell County here. We're talking about Breastfeeding Awareness Month here on WPKY The Tiger. It's 8:15, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown, homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There is a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
And at 8:16, we are back on Tiger Talk. Allie Perryman, lactation specialist, dietitian for the Pennyrile District Health Departments in here. And tell us, you've got a few statistics and some information about this. Let's go over those and tell our audience about breastfeeding.
So these statistics came straight from the CDC's website. So that's information that you can access yourself. But only 1 in 4 infants are exclusively breastfed as recommended by the time they're 6 months old. So, you know, I think that goes back to what we talked about. You know, it's just, this is why it's Breastfeeding Awareness Month, to get the word out there that it's natural.
And honestly, it's probably the best. I mean, it's ideally the best way to go if you can.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no shame if you can't.
Right.
We already said, you know, we want what's best for the baby with formula if that's what is needed.
Right.
We don't want any low weights or anything like that.
Right.
So the next statistic says that the low rates of breastfeeding add more than $3 billion a year to medical costs for the mother and child in the United States.
Wow. So there's an impact there, economic impact.
And that just goes back to all the health benefits for the baby, you know, while they're breastfeeding. And really to receive the best health benefits, they need to be exclusively breastfed for 6 months, which is the current recommendation.
Okay.
But, you know, anything is better than nothing is what I like to tell them, too.
Yes.
And so there's not only just the benefits to the baby, the mom can receive benefits as well. So basically, it can reduce the mom's risk for ovarian cancer and breast cancer. You obviously are going to burn some more calories, so the practical side of it is you might lose a little bit more weight than if you're formula feeding,
Right.
so which is what we all look for.
And of course, I think the hormones, you talk about that, that's the real mystery in all this, so to speak, because that's the component that I think scientists and everybody are still trying to figure out is, we know that the statistics show that if you are breastfeeding, there are benefits health-wise to the mother. It does help prevent osteoporosis and some of those things later on that can set in, certain types of feminine cancers and those kind of things.
Yes. So, and then the last statistic that I have here for you is that 60% of mothers stop breastfeeding sooner than they planned. So that's what we at the health department are trying to prevent. So if you're getting frustrated or you don't know what to do or where to turn, and you are eligible for the WIC program, you can give us a call and we'll get you set up, and you can always come see me and we'll get things going.
That's awesome. So the recommended time to breastfeed is at least 6 months?
Yes.
That's the recommended time. So tell the audience then if they like what they're hearing or they'd like to speak with you about this or how they can get some help, how do they get in touch with you, and what's the process?
You can contact your local health department. So if you're here in Caldwell County, you just call the Caldwell County Health Department. If I'm not always in my office at Crittenden, I obviously travel. So,
right.
But if you want to speak to me directly, you can always call the Crittenden County Health Department. And then like I said, we cover Caldwell, Crittenden, Livingston, Line, and Trigg. So call one of those health departments and you can reach me.
Okay, good deal. Well, Allie, it's been a pleasure meeting you, and of course it's National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And they've got on their website how breastfeeding is a family affair, and that can be, if you have children, and it's nothing that, sometimes in society, you see different things, people get in trouble, but, it is a natural process, and, you don't see it a lot anymore,
right.
but back in the day, it was just a natural process,
right.
and the main thing is you can be nice and discreet and private and breastfeed your baby in public, basically. I mean, it's a good thing. So, well, thank you so much for being here. And can you throw the Crittenden County number out there if somebody's listening?
It's 270-965-5215.
Okay, 270-965-5215, and that would get you Allie's office number in Crittenden County. But again, she works in all 5 of our Pennyrile District health departments. And if you're here in Caldwell County, you can always get in touch with her. They can get you in touch with her if you call our local health department here as well.
Sure can.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And appreciate you being here and enlightening us on Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And appreciate your time here.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That is going to wrap up this version of Tiger Talk. And we've had the pleasure of welcoming into the studios Allie Perryman. She's a lactation specialist and registered dietitian for our Pennyrile area district health departments. And we certainly appreciate you tuning in. We've been talking Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Stick around because coming up at 9:03, it's the Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. And we're going to have a big show. Al Willman will join us via the telephone. We'll be talking West Kentucky fall sports, among all kinds of other things. That's coming up on the Sideline Report at 9:03. It's 8:22. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Tiger Talk, your local source for information about your hometown. Tiger Talk has been brought to you by Health First Community Health Centers, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street, and Katie's Delicious Homemade Goodness, and Perry's Floors and More.